Today I'm going to describe an instance I had where I felt rejection and why a lot of us experience a traumatic response to rejection. Think about it. If you were in school and you had all your groups of friends here and you wanted to join some of them, and imagine there were 10 people in the group and you came up to them, asked them if you wanted to join them, and they said no, we remember that for life. Because we are social creatures, we are human beings. We need one another to live together, to survive and to thrive. This is how we lived for 200,000 years. In short, we need people to live with. We need friends, we need a support network. And this holds true to every human being, which is why in school, when you are rejected from the crowd, it hits deep. This certainly happened a lot to me when I was younger. For some reason, the other kids could just subconsciously tell that I was autistic, that I had Asperger's syndrome, for the way I came across. I don't know how they did it. I didn't even know the difference between me and them. You know, I had all the positive traits of a friend. I was loyal, I was willing to commit my time to them, I was willing to give to the tribe. I was willing to give back to the group. But for some reason, they were able to detect the tiniest bit of me that was different and reject me from the crowd. I'm sure a lot of my autistic brethren will relate. When we are rejected, what is the traumatic feeling we experience? Well, I can describe to you the way I dealt with it the last time it happened to me. I was working a shift and I was given a good position in the final day, which is the position where you help a group for a day and then you can get tips from them in the end. But due to a mistake they made, I got placed into one of the booths when I wasn't meant to be, but I could have been, because two others could have got the same position as me. And when they replaced me with the person that was meant to be there, they decided to replace me out of the two other options. And I thought this was so unfair. This brought all the emotions back from the moment I was told, you can't join us, when I was in primary school. It made me panic, it made me wide-eyed, and I had to deal with it, say, yeah, okay, change positions, because this guaranteed that I would get no tips. And I was pretty infuriated with that, because this was the last day and it was down to chance who would get the last positions to get tips. And I was the scapegoat. How does that make me feel, huh? You realize all the times I've been rejected as a kid are flowing through my mind right now? That's unfair. Why not pick someone else? But people can't understand or predict these things. So I spoke to a manager afterwards about it, said, I don't feel good about this, you know? It's not fair that I get replaced and not the others. And she said, well, you can still go around acting in that position when one of them goes on a break. I said, sure. I mean, ultimately it didn't end up giving me tips, but that's besides the point. The point is now that I felt that rejection rushing back to me after all those years, and it felt painful. It made me really angry inside, and for 20 minutes, I was really distressed. But the way I had to deal with it was pathologically justify the position in my head and where I was right now, and realize, actually, you know what? I made a killing this week. And I did, because I actually turned up to all 5 days. Not everyone else did. So I counted my blessings instead, and that helped me get over it. So I don't know how you deal with trauma like this, but I usually just have to pathologically justify it. And then I have to just kind of, at the end of it all, I find it in my heart to just laugh about it. And like laughing, fake laughter, can actually make you feel genuinely happy. If you force yourself to laugh, like me thinking about this and becoming happy, I actually feel happy. Despite in the moment me faking my laughter, it actually relieved my emotions, because laughter can be a response to trauma. And I just released it all in that moment. And it's a way to kind of get the trauma out of my muscles and into the air, get rid of it. It's kind of like self-therapy. It makes you feel good. So two of my main ways of dealing with trauma are pathological justification and laughter. They're a really good combo. I love having them together. It makes me get over anything. Now, we all have instances of trauma. They may only come up once or twice a month, maybe even less often than that, but you need to know how to deal with them, because you can't just let trauma reside with you. You need to imagine it like this. Trauma is stored all across your body and your muscles. It's like residue. Imagine it like tar in your muscles. And the only way to get it out of your system is by like shaking, like shivering, or crying, or laughing, because that releases parts of your body. And with that, usually trauma comes out. Trauma is hiding in your tears or at the back of your throat before you are laughing. Imagine it like this. And quite often, that's the way to release it. The thing is, Traumatic experiences stick with us for life. From that very moment back in school where I was rejected from the crowd, it hurts, and it keeps coming out in some ways. The trauma isn't fully gone yet, but I'm sure that there are professionals that can help you get rid of it forever. Perhaps that'd be worth doing one day. So please let me know if you've had traumatic experiences like this. Did you experience the same trauma that I did, being rejected from the crowd when you were younger? I'd love to know and see if you relate to my experience. Thank you very much for listening. Take care and see you in the next video.